morning students. How are you all? Fine? Okay. Today I am going to send you a video on chapter 13 and the name of the chapter is The Wonderful Tea Kettle. Okay. So I am going to read the chapter and explain you side by side. It is very good and interesting story. A long time ago in Japan, there was an old priest who lived in a temple and was very devout. Devout means very devoted towards the religion. He was also very poor. He cooked his own rice, boiled his own tea, swept his own floor, and lived frugally as an honest priest should do. Means he used to do all the household activities on his own and he lived a very simple life like priest used to do. One day, the kettle in which he boiled water for his tea broke and he did not know what to do. As he had no money to buy a new one, he was so poor, his kettle was broken and there was no money to buy new one. But the next morning, behold, a shiny brass tea kettle was sitting outside the door. What he saw next day, a shining kettle was there on the door. The priest was overjoyed. He was very happy. He built a fire in the square fireplace in the middle of the floor. He made a fireplace in the center of the room. A rope and a chain to hold the rice pot and tea kettle hung down from the ceiling. He tied a rope and a rice pot and a kettle on it to prepare rice and tea on this fireplace. Soon the fire blazed merrily. Fire was very burning hot. At the side of the fireplace, on the floor, was his tray filled with tiny teacups, a pewter tea caddy, a container in which he used to keep tea leaves, a bamboo tea stirrer, and a little dipper. Dipper means cup-like container to drink tea. The priest swept the ashes of the edges of the earth with a little broom. He used to clean the earth with a little broom after cooking. And the broom was made up of hawk's feather. He was just about to put on the tea when sang the shiny tea kettle spout. As he has done all the preparation. Now he was started to prepare the tea for that. So what he saw? The sound of buzz coming out of the kettle. And it was shiny tea kettle spout. Spout with the mouth of kettle. And what the spout was speaking? Patari, patari, said the lid. Now the spout was also making sound and the lid was also making sound. As it flapped up and down, lid was flapping up and down. And the kettle swung backwards and forward. And kettle was swaying like, swang means past tense of swing. So that was flying like a backward and forward. What does this mean? Said the old priest with a start. Wonder of wonders. The spout of the kettle had turned into a badger's nose with its big whiskers, while from the other side sprouted out a long bushy tail. What he saw? The kettle is turning into an animal. The name of the animal was badger. So it is a type of animal with a grey fur and a white, black and white lines on it. Okay. And whiskers means bristles. It had bristles on its mouth and long bushy tail was coming out of the kettle. Means kettle is turning into an animal. Badger. Ho, ho, cried the priest. And in terror, he dropped the tea caddy, spilling the green tea leaf all over the matting. In the horror, what he has done? He had thrown the container containing tea leaves and all the tea leaves fell down on its his mat. Now four hairy legs appeared under the kettle. Now kettle ke all the sides 4 legs was visible. The strange thing, the half becher and half kettle. Now it is half becher and half kettle. Jumped off the fire. It jumped out of the fire and began running around the room. And he started running in the room. To the priest's horror, it leaped on the shelf, puffed out its burning belly and began to beat a tune with its 4 paws as it were a drum. Because of hot, it jumped out of the fire and leaped out on the shelf, and it was blowing like this to take out the hotness from his belly, and it was beating his belly like a drum. The old priest's pupil here means students, hearing the loud noise, rushed in. His pupils, his students coming the hut. What happened to the priest? After a lively chase, upsetting piles of books, and it was disturbing all. Books ka piling it disturbed, breaking some of the teacups. It wandered all around the hut and thrown everything. Finally they caught the badger and squeezed him into a keg, and they put into the keg means a wooden container like drum, and they squeezed the badger into the container, and the container was containing strong pickle and pickle of radish. They squeezed them into that container. Why? See in the lines. They fastened down the lid with a heavy stone, and the lid ke upar they have kept a heavy stone, and felt sure. Now they were sure that due to the strong odor, means smell of radish and vinegar, the beast will die. No man could survive in such a smell. How can a badger should live? So now they are happy that we have caught the badger and put into the container. Now they are free. The next morning, the tinker means a person who used to do repairing work, came, and the priest told him about this strange visitor. Wishing to show him the animal, he was very sure the animal was died. He carefully lifted the lid of the cask, the container. After all, the badger might be still alive. In spite of the strong vinegar pickles, the animal was still alive. And lo, there was nothing but the shiny brass tea kettle. It again converted into the kettle. Now the priest was thinking the animal was died, but it was there. Only at that time it changed again into kettle. Fearing that the utensil might play the same prank again, he was thinking that kettle will play a trick again. The priest was glad to sell it to the tinker. He was feeling very happy that I will sell to that tinker. On his part, tinker was also thinking that I am dreaming. That man is giving me so big kettle to me, and it is very heavy too. And in the happiness, he exchanged the kettle also and gave some cash. And now the kettle came to the tinker. The tinker went to the bed. Now the kettle was with tinkers. Now when tinker was on the bed to sleep, with his tiny paper shaded lamp was tiny and it was of paper, just behind his head, about midnight. Now what happened in midnight? Hearing a strange noise like flapping up and down of a pot lid. Now the same lid is making noise of up and down in the midnight. He sat up in the bed, rubbed his eyes. There was a bewitched tea kettle covered with fur and sprouting out legs. Again the animal is coming out of the kettle. And the animal was delighted, bewitched. In short, it was turning into hairy beast again. Okay? Don't beat me or shut me in a vinegar keg. Now he was frightened. So he was shouting, don't beat me and don't keep me in a vinegar keg container, because I am really a kind-hearted and wish you well. What can I do for you? Said the tinker. Feed me a little rice now and then. After some time, please give me some small quantity of rice. And don't put me on fire as that stupid priest had done. Okay? Now, only I want to eat rice now and then. Going over to a corner of the room and taking a fan from the rack, now it was happy. It was going around the corner of the room. He took a fan from the rack and the badger climbed up and up on the frame of the lamp. It is playing and began to dance on its hind leg. And now it is standing on its leg and dancing, waving the fan with its forepaws. Now, and it played many other tricks with fan and umbrella. Now it was playing happily. And then the badger turned into tea kettle again. After playing, it turned into tea kettle. Next morning, the delighted tinker hired a professional showman. Now Tinker was very happy. He got an idea and he called a showman. The people who used to perform show for entertainment and earn money. To build a little theatre and stage. He called that showman, "Ki now build a theatre and a stage for me like magicians." You know? Keep it in mind, like magicians, they used to make a stage and everything decorated. Then he ordered an artist to paint scenery. You know, on the theatre, he painted a scenery. With the sacred mountain Fujiyama, they have painted fountain also Fujiyama in the background, and cranes are flying in the sky. Crimson means red, the red sun shining through the bamboo, a red moon rising over the waves, you know, with golden clouds and tortoises and such, like a painting like magician used to decorate the stage. Then he stretched a tight rope of rice straw across the stage. Now he put a rope on that stage. And on that it stuck pamphlets. Handbills means pamphlets for advertisement. And he used to put that rope on the barber shops in town and wooden tickets branded with, and he made a wooden tickets. And what was written on the ticket? Magic tea kettle performance, admit one, were sold. One ticket for one person. Okay. And he started selling the tickets in the market. Now the house was speedily filled. His house was filled very fast. The people coming in parties, peoples are coming in group. Now they are making parties, bringing their teapots full of tea and picnic boxes full of rice. Now they came to his house for picnicking, and they brought this rice, teapots, and eggs, other refreshments. Now they want to eat and enjoy, because they came to stay all day and they used to remain for whole day. Mothers brought their babies with them. The children enjoyed it most of all. Now the badger started performing actions in front of them, and the tinker used to take money as a ticket. Then what tinker used to do? Then the tinker, dressed up in colorful clothes like magician, he dressed up himself with a big fan in his hand, came out on the platform. He made a polite bow like magicians and set the wonderful tea kettle on the stage. On the stage he kept the tea kettle. At a wave of his fan, the kettle ran around the four legs. As he swayed the fan, the kettle started moving on its four legs. Half buzzer and half kettle. Clanking means the sound of metals produced. Clanking its lids, they are producing sound, and wagging its tail, and the animal was wagging its tail like a dog. How the children shouted! The children are shouting in a joy. Next, it turned into a badger. Slowly, the kettle is turning into a badger. And bigger, swelled out its body. Now its body is swelling. And beat a tune on it like a drum. Now he is beating his body like a drum. It danced on the tightrope. The rope was tied and it was dancing on that rope. Walked the slack rope, loose rope, and holding a fan, an umbrella on its paw, stood on its head. It is performing dances and actions to entertain the people. And finally, with flourish movement, the magician said bye and become a cold brass tea kettle. And in the last, he used to wave a fan and it turned into tea kettle again. The audience were wild with delight. They were so happy and they are paying money for this. As the fame of the wonderful tea kettle spread, now the fame means it is becoming famous and people come in groups more and more, and they are coming from great distances to see its performance. Year after year, the tinker exhibited the wonder until he grew immensely rich. Now the tinker was getting money and money in large amount and he became very rich. Then he retired from this show business and out of the gratitude took the old kettle to the temple again. He wants to give that old kettle in the temple so that it should be remain safe. He deposited in the temple to the priest with as a this old things we used to keep safe now, like that he gave to the priest of the temple, and he gave lot of money to the priest to take care of the beggar, to provide him food and all, you know. So he provided lot of money to the priest to take care of the beggar, and all his life it had all the food it wanted. Whatever the food he wanted, he provided to the priest. After his death, it turned into an ordinary kettle. When the beggar died, it turned into a normal kettle again, and has stayed so ever since. If you don't believe it, you can go to the temple of Japan and see there. It is a story for fun and interest. Okay, so read twice and thrice the story. I hope you enjoyed the story. In the next video, we will discuss comprehension. Okay, till then, read the chapters, enjoy the story. Have a nice day. Bye. Love you all.